Hi friends, host Eric here is talking with famous people and I'm in the room with the bot back in place. I've got assorted friends and associates in attendance, including the noble Kit Kats long of talking with famous people community participatory status. And I am currently distracted slightly, which is why I'm not doing a very good job of this. And which one was I going to answer? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so I'm also here with Spacey, not host Mark, ENTP Anzi, I don't know who that is exactly, Neptune,
Pantone.
oh, Anthony. We've got the arch technocrat himself here, Jeremy. We've got INFT, we've got Kit Kats, we've got Garrett, who I typed one-on-one, and who's still waiting for me to finish my job and for him to get his full $5 worth. I need to send him a report on himself, which I am going to make. And I'm going to continue referencing it until I do, so you know it's going to happen. Anyway, this comment that I want to respond to says this. To what extent do you think it's possible for an ENTP to suppress his or her FE? And if it's possible, do you think it would ultimately be beneficial to the individual to do so? What I'm getting at is that sometimes there are things that need to be said in certain situations. Your FE can make you annoyingly indecisive in terms of actually saying it, at least in the most direct way possible, which might be just what's needed. In other words, exactly what I want to do is probably the right thing to do, right? Yeah. You can't suppress your FE. You can only ignore it or pay attention to it. Now, ISFJ reminding you about it is always good. Uh, but, you can get decent about it with just on your own. I see plenty of ENTPs with much better, more consistent FE than my own. Now, on the channel, it's pretty good and pretty consistent. I don't tend to drop FE turds all over the place like I used to. But it's still not great, and I still make mistakes. And what I found out now is that what worked for a while in my favor, which was my expression of 8, being angry and coming down like a ton of bricks on problems and making them break until they go my way, god damn it, that approach did work in certain contexts for a while, and it's now time, according to the slabs, for me to outgrow that. Basically, I it doesn't work for me anymore. When I get angry, it causes me problems now, and I don't know why things have changed, except that it's I'm ready to go past that stage, and so the universe won't let me really be like that anymore without experiencing the natural consequences of it. So there are still times when anger is an appropriate response, but not an appropriate modality of communication. So I'm learning to detach from my response, my modality of communication, and even when I am angry, to deal with things in a calm fashion that is more productive. I like yelling at people, but it doesn't really do any good. So the thing about suppressing your FE is you can't suppress your awareness of perceptions of others. That's what you're saying is, can I not have my intuition apply to the perceptions of others? The answer is no, you can't. Because you have TIFE, that means your intuition applies to logical consistency and the perceptions of others as objectively represented in language and symbols and status and stuff like that. Most ENTPs do, for certain periods of time in their life, choose to prioritize TI over FE when they conflict and choose to find more narrow interpretations of things to make them conflict sometimes because they don't like the way in which extroverted feeling requires a person to consider factors that slow down the ideational process. When you have to consider about how your tone and your wording and stuff are being perceived by, internalized by, consumed by others, so that they either, I can talk in certain ways where fewer people understand what I'm saying, or I could talk in ways in which more people understand what I'm saying. And I used to get fucking furious about people telling me to that either I'm using too many big words, I'm trying to show off, or I'm just unnecessarily complicating things and stuff. And the reason it got me so upset is because it's true. You know, that's why shit gets you mad. It's when it's true. False shit doesn't usually piss you off very much. Somebody tells me I'm short and fat. Well, you may be attempting to insult me, but you're doing a poor job of it. I'm actually tall and skinny. You know, you're not going to get me too mad by just continually taunting me for being too short. Unless, I mean, even unless you transplant me somewhere into a place where everyone else is 7 feet tall or something. So, that's the thing about the truth, is that it's annoying. Often, if it's not conducive to what we naturally want to do. And so what we naturally want to do is work fast. We want to work fast ideationally, and working fast means not considering a bunch of factors that seem irrelevant to the ideational process that we're engaged in. So if we're talking about nuclear physics, we do not want to know and consider your feelings about your pet theory about nuclear physics, because we're not talking about whose pet theory it is. I'm saying why you're wrong, god damn it. Well, that's fine if you're talking about nuclear physics. Most of the things we do in life aren't talking about nuclear physics. Even if you're hanging out around here, if you present great ideas really pedantically or really offensively or really self-importantly or some other gross FE error, it'll have consequences. I mean, you're gonna get smacked about probably a little bit, or depending on how you do it. I mean, the thing is, FE has consequences. Period. FI has consequences too, but I don't even want to get into that shit because you can't make your decisions on it, but it's hugely important. That's the problem with FI in a nutshell, by the way. I don't think I've ever nutshelled it quite so well as right there. It, it's hugely important, but if you're an ENTP, you should never make any decisions on it. And I don't know how to balance that exactly, or what. You got to seek it like you seek SI, and then when you find it, you're not going to know. You know you found it, but you don't know what it is, and you can't figure out what to do with it exactly. And
It's nice.
What's that, Mark?
It's very nice.
It's very nice. It's very nice. But so's heroin. I presumably. I've never done it actually. I've never injected anything. These veins are needle free, friends, except for the ones the doctors put in you when I got blood taken out. And yours should remain so as well. If you do intravenous drugs, you should stop doing that. Okay. That's not really responsive to the comment, but the good message for friends out there anyway, for all of you people. Uh, you know, snorting's okay.
No.
No, Kim says it's not. Smoking? I'm not heroin. I wouldn't smoke or snort heroin or shoot it because it's a dumb drug.
What about pixie sticks? I remember seeing a Boy Scout do that one time when I was in first aid class way back.
I believe you should boof those. You should boof them, okay? That means you pour them up your butt.
Okay.
I learned that from
I didn't want this. I think I'd be scarred if I did.
Well, Kit Kats, I don't know what to tell you. I think you need to go get some pixie sticks and pour them up your butt. Neptune, you've done that hundreds of times. How's it feel?
Wouldn't crush up Kit Kats be more fitting?
You got a point there. Oh, Neptune, you were the one who taught me about boofing. Remember we had a boofing party? We went through all your mom's medicine cabinet, took all of her pills out, and just stuck them all up our asses. I stuck half them up your ass. You stuck the other half up mine. Remember?
Disgusting.
What, Kim? You weren't there. You missed out on the fun.
You stuck them up your butt?
I've never met Neptune, Kimberly. No. God. How gullible can you be?
I am so gullible.
I remember learning about that in DARE.
Dare taught us all how to do drugs. That that much for sure is true. When I was in school, we got a lot of Dare. Boy, did I learn a lot about how to do drugs in Dare. That's all they talked about. I always left those
Dare
Dare
was
meetings
funny.
so much more intrigued by drugs than I had been when I walked in.
Fucking Dare.
They definitely went into the boofing. They had, a guy come up and show us how to do it and everything.
They should bring in real drug addicts to actually do the drugs in front of the kids. That would be great. That would really help them understand. No, no, no. Look, some of you may attempt first to smoke the meth on the tinfoil. Just skip that, go straight to the glass pipe. They're going to look like this, okay?
And then you do that, and you look like this. And they point to themselves.
Right. And then the cops think that the takeaway is, see how scary that is? That's what a meth addict looks like. Half the class is like, yeah, we're scared. And the other half's like, where's the meth?
Man, my Dare class was never that educational.
Yeah.
Missed out.
Yeah. Well, I think they kind of pulled back on it a little bit when they realized they were
Yeah.
encouraging everyone to do drugs.
They stopped the program. The program's over.
Yeah. They kind of figured out, like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, definitely counterproductive.
I wonder the rates went down when they stopped.
The funny thing is, people try to make that argument for sex ed, too. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't have sex ed because it encourages them to have sex. People will have sex no matter what.
They'll be having regardless.
It doesn't matter if you have sex ed or not. It's not the case with meth. It's not like everyone's going to do meth no matter what. No, most people won't do it. And if you stop drawing so much attention to it, that would probably help.
Well, all I can tell you is I don't want public schools teaching my kids about dicks and vaginas.
Well,
I mean, I'm with you. I wouldn't allow my kids to go to that.
I'm not in favor of sex ed. I'm opposed to arguments equating sex ed with drug education regarding participation in the activity.
I mean, I see what you mean, but, theoretically, the same type of preventative education should accomplish the same general goal, right?
Well, no, because the thing being described, one of them is self-medicatory, and one of them is reproductive. They're not comparable processes.
Well, you can still...
They're both drugs.
You
They're
can still
not
consider
both
both
drugs.
things
They're not
bad
both. Sex
things
is
to
not a
happen.
In
drug.
some sense, they're both drugs. Yeah, they are.
Sex is not a drug.
It releases endorphins and dopamine and all that.
So does jogging.
Yeah, but not on the same scale.
Not everything that makes you feel good is a drug. We have clear definitional differences between things that are drugs, namely chemicals you from external outside.
I'm not using it in a technical sense, Eric. I'm not using it in a technical sense. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm
You agree
drawing the
with me.
distinction. I'm saying what the distinction you're making, the failure to make the distinction that you fail to make is in fact a failure to make the distinction that ought to be made. That's the claim I'm making.
All right, well, you go ahead and make that distinction, Eric.
Okay,
It doesn't even matter.
Consider it distinctified. Were we still making a video? Anyway, that's the answer to the FE question. Okay, how is that, FE, Mark? Was that good FE on my part or bad FE?
I mean, I'll respond in kind, so I guess it doesn't matter. It equals out.
Right. Two bad FEs do make a good FE. Okay, this is one of the weird rules about, two wrongs don't make a right. Two negatives only make a positive when you're multiplying them. And one thing we do know is that two FE mistakes make an FE positive. So that's good news, Mark. Congratulations. You and I teamed up together to win the FE fight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.